Hello, my friends. My name is Thad Riley, and this is episode number 235 of the Thadcast. Thank you for taking some special time out of your day to join me. Big news on June. June was our biggest month ever at the Thadcast again, so we keep growing. I'm excited. Thank you. Massive thank you to all of my listeners, everyone who downloaded or listened to an episode. June was huge. And very optimistic about July, and we're getting to that point soon, hopefully, where the money flow starts. Hey, listen, we're not doing this for the cash, right? So we're just doing this to be a light, to be an encouragement to you all. So I want to thank you for listening, and if you have time, and you can do a review on whatever podcast that you listen to, Apple is great. That would be awesome for me. So, and thank you. And I don't know if you have to do one on YouTube or not. I got like 2 views on YouTube, a little bit more than that, not much. But yeah, so we'll get that going eventually. We're doing it. So it's here, it's archived, it's logged, so that we have them from the beginning, because it's kind of a fun thing. But I want to talk to you today about our world and about something that I think we all experience at some time. There's a lot of critics out there in our world, and the critics seem to show up at the most odd times. One of those odd times that they show up is when you and I want to do good, when we want to do something good and positive for someone else. And we've seen this narrative get blown out of hand in the place where it gets blown out of hand, social media, right? On Facebook or Twitter, where all of a sudden some dig comes in or whatever, some passive aggressive statement, and you got to deal with it. Or we've got people out there who are just telling us, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. First of all, Jesus directly addresses this, but I want to say one thing to the critics out there. If you're a critic, just repent. Just repent and ask God to heal your critic's heart, okay? And to put a spirit of light and optimism in you. Because we need you to be that person that is encouraging others, not discouraging others when they do good. But we're going to go straight to the scriptures. And we know that Jesus is always concerned about the heart before we read this passage. That's the other piece of it. If your heart's in the right place and you're trying to do the right thing and you're humble and you're listening, hey, listen, it's all good. It's all good. So Luke 13 says, one Sabbath day, as Jesus was teaching in a synagogue, he saw a woman who had been crippled by an evil spirit. She had been bent double for 18 years and was unable to stand up straight. When Jesus saw her, he called her over and said, "Dear woman, you are healed of your sickness." Then he touched her, and instantly she could stand straight. How she praised God. The leader in charge of the synagogue was indignant that Jesus had healed her on the Sabbath day. There are 6 days of the week for working, he said to the crowd. Come on those days to be healed, but not on the Sabbath. But the Lord replied, "You hypocrites, each of you works on the Sabbath day, don't you? Untie your ox or your donkey from its stall on the Sabbath and lead it out to water. This dear woman, this daughter of Abraham, has been held in bondage by Satan for 18 years. Isn't it right she be released even on the Sabbath?" This shamed his enemies. But all the people rejoiced at the wonderful things that Jesus did. Right? That's the story of Jesus. People rejoicing because he's so good. He's so good. He's doing good. Just do good. Just do good, okay? There's always going to be somebody out there who's going to say something. Right? You may not even hear it, but just assume that they did, okay? Just assume that they did. And treat people and do the good for others that you would want done for you. Jesus is creating a better story here because he's giving us the ammo that we need to understand to do good. We would do good to our animals. Why wouldn't we do good to people? Now, first of all, that is quite a statement for our world today, because a lot of folks, there's a lot of them out there who are so keen on doing a great job as a pet owner or for stray dogs and all these things, and they treat people horribly, and they're done with people. And sometimes that's because of hurt and pain and all these other things that are built up in their lives, right, over a period of time. Okay, they got their baggage, they haven't dealt with it. And so animals can be a more trusted source of healing and pain. Listen, it doesn't mean that we don't keep doing good to others right? It may mean that we may need major boundaries in place with unhealthy people, right? Just like Jesus had established boundaries with the unhealthy Pharisees. What would he do? He walked away, right? He wouldn't say anything. Sometimes, I think he's just sitting there. There's not much of a response. He's just looking at them, and then they walk away. And it says in the Bible they were ashamed or something, and people are like, oh, why exactly? I think he just looked at them and they realized, oh, yeah, I'm a colossal sized jerk. And it was so true so often with the Pharisees. And we can all struggle with that on some level. Basically, don't judge. Don't judge. We don't know people's whole story. And even if they're doing good and you feel like it's just for a picture on social media, who cares? I mean, the Bible tells us to let our lights so shine before men so that they can see the good works of our Father in heaven. That's right there from Matthew 5. Embrace that, right? And I know Matthew 7 says, don't be a hypocrite. Don't go out there and promote yourself and your good works. But that's what it's saying. Listen, when we're promoting Jesus and we're doing good things, just do it. Okay? Don't sweat this other stuff. Really, we've gone too far with it again. And it makes me feel like we're hindering others from doing the good thing. And boy, if there's ever been a time we needed you and I to be out there doing the good thing, it's now. Now's the time where we want to provide encouragement and empowerment and love and care and kindness and compassion in our hands, whatever they need, to the world today. And that's really the direction that you and I need to go. So, I read actually about somebody on social media who's an influencer, and they had a panic attack the other day. And I have to tell you, I so understand. I haven't had a panic attack, but I understand where they're coming from because of the way that social media has been built. Social media and our world in so many ways has been built off of a certain list of do's and don'ts. And you've always got your critics out there who are just chipping away at different things. And sometimes I think it overwhelms people who have a lot of critics who put themselves out there in some way, shape, or form and decided this is the life that they want to lead. And it might be even just serving people. It might be just that's all they want to do is serve and love people. And they're just getting constantly hounded. There have been history of people who have tried to serve the world, all of a sudden been given a massive platform, gone out and done that, and people have just treated them horribly, and they've ended up having panic attacks and mental illness and all kinds of problems. So my encouragement to you is to just focus in on the doing good part. Just focus in on how can I improve one thing. And I tell people all the time, stay small. Stay small. Sometimes it's just a conversation with your children. Sometimes it's just inspiring them in some way, and most of the time that's gonna blow up in your face. I thought this is kind of a little funny side story. Bob Goff has this conversation with his kids in his book, Love Does, and he talks about it on the podcast, the Dream Big podcast with Bob Goff. And he says, he sat him down and, if you could do anything in the world, what would it be? And his kids came up with this idea. They would want to spend the night in a world leader's home, okay? And it was like this massive discussion, and it ended up leading to them and Bob Goff meeting all these world leaders, staying in palaces or going to palaces, having people over from different nations, and all this stuff developed. So I thought I would sit around the table and do this with my family. And we're in COVID-19 thing going on here. You know what my kids said? I'd like to spend time with my friends. This is the world that we're in right now. This is the world that we're in. Where my kids' greatest dream and desire is to be able to go back to where we were 6 months ago, right? Well, let's say a year ago, because it was summer a year ago, right? Where they could go over to their friend's house and hang out. They need that, right? And I guess that's how I can do good to them in a small way, is by listening to them, not judging their dreams, hearing the whole story that they've got to share with that, and help them right now today to make that happen. And so we've been working on that, and we've actually been making that happen. In fact, 2 of our kids are on sleepovers tonight. Actually, my daughter's been gone for days, like almost a week now, at her friend's family's house, and we love the family, so it's all good. It's kind of nuts right now, right? This is the goals and dreams. And I was actually judging myself as a father coming out of that too, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do better than this. Like, I can't instill dream and vision and hope in my children the way Bob Goff can. And it's like, hold on a second here. I don't need to be him. I need to be me. My kids don't need to be somebody else. They need to be them. And how cool is this that they're being real about it? That they're not telling me what I want to hear. They're just telling me what's on their heart. Why? Because we have that relationship, and it's a safe place. So it's good. It's good. It's good. It's what they should have said because it was on their heart, right? It's so good. So anyway, I think somebody said, like, I want to play video games all day. It's like, I think you kind of do that. So I don't know what that is about, but if that's your dream, like, I guess you're living it. And okay. So anyway, so my encouragement to you today, I guess we do this a lot on the Thadcast. We come back to the don't judge others, don't judge yourself, don't be a critic, but take a step forward and remember that a lot of time that these people are hurting when they make a comment or a passive aggressive comment. Your mission is not to please them. It's to please Jesus, right? And to serve and love this world in whatever way that looks like. To be a bearer of the good news and the gospel. And I hope you'll do that today. I hope you'll consider such things today, because we really super bad need you in this way. We really do. Like we've never needed you before, we need you to do good and to not sweat these people, to not sweat the negativity, to just go out and to go forward with me, and we're going to do good. Okay? Okay, so good. So I hope that passage again was from Luke, the middle of the chapter, chapter 13, 10 through 17, where Jesus is just owning the Pharisees again because they were just judging and not into doing good. And I hope you and I can be more into doing good. So anyway, so that's it for this episode of the Thadcast. I think I mentioned at the beginning, big changes coming. I'm excited. Actually, it won't change too much. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday will remain the same programming that we've had. Wednesdays are friend days, where I will be doing an interview with a friend of mine or an influencer who I guess would now be a friend of mine. And so that person will be on. And then Friday, I'm just going to do a wrap up of our week and just talk about the subjects we've been talking about. It'll be a little bit of a summary and a little bit of a challenge to all of us on Fridays. And that's where we're going. Hopefully soon. I'll make that announcement when it happens, and I'm excited to share with you. I've lined up my first interview already, and I'll be working on the other ones. So good stuff to come on the Thadcast. And if wherever you're listening, again, just a reminder, I know the podcast numbers are great. They're up. YouTube is nowhere on the map, so you can see this all live in my basement office space. If you choose to do so. But if you're listening on a podcast and want to just stay there, that's the better place for you. So anyway, thank you again for joining me here today. And I'm always grateful for a listener review, and even more grateful too for the feedback that I get. So thank you so much for that. And if you can share it with one friend today, that always helps us in the growth thing. That's good. Anyway, let's finish this up. So again, thank you again for today, spending time, taking a few precious moments of your day with me on episode number 235 of the Thadcast. And until next time, may you be blessed.